from a frigid America, and it is cold. That's all that you can say. I'm in Chicago, and today is Tuesday, and we're at the 21st of January, 2025. I think our temperature in Chicago is about 3 degrees right now as I'm doing this. That's, by the way, without wind chill. It's under that with the wind chill, and it's going below zero without the wind chill. But this could be the last of the real cold weather. It's supposed to start warming up. Take a look tonight at local TV, and you'll see New Orleans with all the snow it gets. They don't have snow plows. I was talking to my friends in Houston today. They don't have snow plows. They're buried in snow. So you're going to see parts of America has to dig out. Florida, the Panhandle, getting it. They're going to get hit. In this cold weather, as you know, that the inauguration had to be moved indoor, well, it's going to be even colder. If Chicago's any idea, it's single digit and probably near zero by the time I finish taping tonight. So that just gives you an idea of cold. I'm wearing my sweaters in the house here, even though, yeah, I've got a nice house. It's still, if you get near a window, it's a bit chilly any way you want to cut it. I mean, that is cold weather. So when we look at the board behind me, you can see all that's going on. You have some red in Tesla. XLE was down. So the service industry and the metal, okay, and the energy. Tesla down, which makes sense if you're going to get rid of the $7,500 credits, and they do have a lower price car. AMC was down today. Microsoft, GameStop, Rivian was down as well. But you weren't down in Ford or GM. Well, did you not hear what the president said? America's not ready for just electric cars. It needs those combustion engines. That was the Trump effect today. Now, how long the Trump effect will last, I can't tell you. He didn't do a lot of things. He did not put on tariffs. No, he didn't mention China. He told Mexico and Canada 25% could be coming, which is code word, get your butts in here. Let's talk, and you've got to do certain things, and I'll decide what things I want to tariff and not. Don't do it quickly. As I said, February 1st. Well, you don't have a lot of time, but believe me, they'll all be running to talk to them. When we take a look today at earnings in some of the markets, Netflix, an absolute blowout in the afternoon today. They're going to stop telling you how many new subscribers they get quarterly. So this is the last time you get that. We were expecting 8.5 to 9 million, right in that range. They got 18. Then they are telling you today they're raising prices in all their tiers. So get ready to dole out a couple of more dollars each month, all right? But they got the best of the best products. They're up 13% in the aftermarket. United Airlines, they're firing on every jet engine they have. And they're just beating it in all the different tiers. They're taking down some of the cap spending they had. Maybe that's because they can't get planes from Boeing. I don't know right now, but that's happening. Then you're going to have the president, as I said, any minute while I'm recording this, I expect that he's on television and talking about his new force that he's putting together for artificial intelligence with lots of money behind it. I've read that the investments are going to hit well over $500 billion that the government's getting behind. Larry Ellison will be there, Sam Altman will be there, one other person. So it'll be interesting. Interactive Brokers up about 4% aftermarket. They're doing well. Their client base is really trading away, and Schwab did well this morning too. So you're seeing companies are doing better. This is with high interest rates, folks. Now, tomorrow, you're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association at 6. You're going to get the Red Book Group. They're going to come out with retail sales at 7:55. The Conference Board's going to be coming out tomorrow. They'll do that at 9 o'clock, and we're going to get the API numbers at about 3:30. Remember, a lot of these are moved back a day, and that's because of the Martin Luther King holiday inaugurations that took place yesterday. So let's together take a look at something and get a feel for what's going on here. If you look at Ferrari, I'm in the mood to talk about things that move. Airlines are doing well. We saw Delta recently. You saw United. Well, this is doing well. There's a gap in this chart here. Now, Ferrari's one of these charts that gets a lot of gaps. It's not unusual. I wish I could tell you this is normal. It's not. Is this the type of trade for everybody? It is not. But when I saw their new car come out that goes for approximately, this is without taxes on it or tariffs, $4 million. And it's basically, when they come out with these new cars, they're sold out 1, 2, 3. What happens is if you're a Ferrari owner and you're a regular buyer of Ferraris, you get into a dealer network, if you will, you'll get a call. You have to take the car that they offer you. You can choose all your colors and customize it. If you don't take it, you don't get the call again, is the problem. And when you get these supercars, what happens is you've got to agree to generally a 2-year deal where you're not going to sell the car. After that, you're okay to sell it. And the pops on them are pretty terrific on most of them. Not every one of them is going to do that. But if you're on that list, it's pretty much printing money for those type of people. That's what it's proven to be. Well, when I look at all this, and away you go, you're getting your pop here. And yes, I have a friend that's getting one. I have a friend that just got a Bugatti. I'm going down to Florida next month. I've never been in one. I don't know if he'll let us drive it, but it's supercar. You talk a supercar, this is unbelievable. Higher lows, higher highs, and you all know I'm a car freak, have been all my life. They're fun. I want somebody else on them. It's like a boat, fun to go in. Let somebody else have it. When you look at all this right here, though, chart is up. So you got the trend up, you got the bias up, you're over the 18. The battleground should be right where you're at, the 200-day average. If the market can extend this, then you go for this gap. That's why I'm pointing that out. And that'll probably tie in pretty well with wherever the 100-day average ends up. It's currently around the 454 level. When you take a look at where the Bollinger Bands are, higher lows, higher highs. See, I like luxury goods sometimes like this. If you go into a dealership today and you want to buy a new Ferrari, do you think you can? I'll be shocked if you can. They'll have them on the floor. You can look at them, blah, blah, but you have to order. You got to get on a list. It takes forever. You know what it is? And many times when a new Corvette comes out, you can wait a year on these cars. Well, the same thing with these. And they don't end up with inventory is the point that I'm telling you. What they build, they sell. So I'm still looking for that up, and you're overbought. So for me, looking at a market that's a little rich up here, if it pops, it'll be quick, in my opinion, and fill up to this area. But right here is where it should have the problems. When we go to Dutch Brothers, it's just been doing what we've been talking about, higher and higher. And now the market is trying to get you to the point where these numbers are both over 80. Maybe it'll embed. More likely, it's been pretty overbought and it's gotten up there. It's ripe for a correction. Doesn't mean it has to have it. In CrowdStrike, I contend you're still caught in this sideways action, going backwards and forwards here. Their problems are behind them. You're not going down to the prices we had before when they had that snafu. That's done. They've kept their client business. They're looking in pretty good shape, in my opinion. Rivian. The key was Friday. You don't go that high, close near the low. I'm looking at the market, and if you had gotten my subscriber video in the morning, I told clients at this level, right up here, we were running up to not the Bollinger, we were running up to window envelopes in the market. And I said, you got to take something off the table. And I was hoping you'd go even higher, and that would be the final profit area. Well, that didn't turn out to be that way at all. And when you closed at the low part, I said, something's real wrong. And what that something is, we had an inkling it could happen if President Trump were to take away the EV car credits. And that's basically what he did. So the market got hit on that. That's what I think happened here. Plus, the president doesn't sound like he's go crazy about electric cars. You know, he still thinks regular engine cars are fine. America's built on it, and there's nothing wrong with keeping them around. He basically said that. Higher lows, higher highs in K-Web. So China getting a boost, and it should. All right, first, you lost the bearish embedded reading. That meant a run I thought would happen to at least the 18-day average, the first major average. And I think it'll have a problem right here. From this zone up to 30.44, which is 90 cents away. That's all it is. That's a big resistance zone that you're climbing in. When the president didn't mention China, That was nice. Pressure off them and dollar down because of that. Toll Brothers, you haven't broken interest rates a lot. They've come down. You're around 4.57 in the 10-year note. So I would assume on Thursday of this week, when we hear, I think it'll be Thursday when we hear from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, all that, we'll see what the interest rates are. But I think they fell a bit, and that would be my guess. And the home builders getting that bid. But again, I think they're in a lot of resistance right here. I'd be very careful, very careful. I don't think this is a spot where traders are stepping in. Then we get to the XLF. And as you know, the fact that the economy is so strong doesn't hurt this financial sector. And when you see the bank earnings the way they were, which are also brokerage companies, kaboom. And that's what's going on right now in the market. But I don't think it's a spot where you rush in up here. Pullbacks, yes, not up there. That's my opinion, at least. I feel the same way in the industrial sector. I'll let you buy over a Bollinger Band when you're overbought. You being, I hope, the people that don't watch my show. In XLE, still like this because I think the refineries and that type of business with drill, baby, drill are going to be fine. I'm not convinced he's going to convince the oil companies to drill, baby, drill. He can talk it. The problem is they don't think in a 4-year term of his presidency. They got to think out 20 years. All right. Think of the cost you got to put in, the payback over time you want the next administration. I had this conversation with a friend today, and then I flipped on my friend because I can be a tiger and said, but what if J.D. Vance comes in next and he gets 8 years? I said, then the Trump idea that we know now and the person he picked to be his number 2 man would continue with that type of thinking to a degree. Just a point, you got to think it through. And do I know what's going to happen 4 years from now? I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Higher lows, higher highs, going on up to 250, 313, running the Bollinger Band, as you can see. Very strong in the metal markets. All of them got a bid today. The dollar down. Dollar was getting bid because you were expecting big tariffs to come out, which drives the dollar up and takes the products of other things down. It didn't happen. So you step back and money comes out of the dollar. When it comes out, did you change the picture for the metals? You did not. Did we change the U.S. strength? We did not. Metal market gets a bid with inflation too because Trump is still talking. Tariffs are coming. You just didn't put them on yet. Copper market, a bit of a bounce, but I don't see China out of its malaise, so I wouldn't want that part. BND, well, this is good. The higher you go here, the lower interest rates are going, but it's been a vertical price rise. You do realize you got right to the Bollinger Bands, and you popped, and you haven't stopped. I wouldn't be surprised if you hit the upper band and you sort of stop right away. That would not surprise me at all. In the dollar, as I said, disappointment today, so down. A lot of support comes in 29.22, 29.16. If you had the opportunity to have seen, past tense, my dollar index, I thought you were going to churn in here. It's exactly what you're doing. And then the outcome was the one that I showed you, which I won't share here. FXE, maybe you get a ride off of this break in the downside momentum back up to the Bollinger Band, but I wouldn't be looking for a lot more than that. So far, we want to see what Miss Lagarde says. She is at Davos. And in Davos, I understand she's going to speak twice this week. I want to hear what she has to say. I think she's going to get aggressive with rate cuts. Eventually, that supports the euro. You'll think that's funny because their economy will do better. But at the beginning, it generally doesn't. The reason you're cutting the rate is things aren't going well. So I don't think you want to own the euro yet for that longer term. What I do want you to own is a subscription to what I do in the morning in these markets. Because in my Spider ETF video, we'll talk weekly and daily charts. Monday through Friday, ex-holidays, I typically record my video, and I'll bounce back and forth with primary emphasis Monday through Friday on daily charts. We're always rotating, but there's a lot in here. There's 40 some odd charts. Those weren't 40 names, and I rotate what we put in there. And each Saturday or Sunday, you get a weekly chart typically from me. And on that chart, We will look at the weekly, the longer term views. This was a weekend with holidays and I wasn't feeling right, so I didn't do one on the SPDR ETF this weekend. I typically do. I did it on the futures though. You're going to get fundamental analysis. We'll talk what's coming up, the reports, what kind of earnings look like, what are the traders looking for. So you put it all together. It's charts, a bit of tech work, a lot of tech work off of charts, but tech work, looking at the markets, what are people saying, and away you go. I see the president on one of my monitors talking. Go to iraepstein.com. Research is where this all is. Move your cursor up to the top. There'll be an icon. You can call my staff. They'll work with you to get you set up. I'm Ira. Have yourself a great evening.